Yes, this is DJ Ski.
I'm Jeff Wilson.
Hey guys, Andy Broom, Vice President of CGC Cards.
Hey, this is Jason Howorth with Panini.
Yo, I'm Q Harrison.
This is Teapot from Sports Card Investor.
I'm loving the content.
Loving the content here.
The Sports Card Strategy Show.
The Sports Card Strategy Show.
This is the Sports Card Strategy Show with your man, Paul Hickey. What's good?
Part of the NoOffSeason.com Sports Card Network, the #1 place for advice on how to make money flipping sports cards. Thanks for tuning in, and remember, there is no off-season.
You already know, there is no off-season.
No off-season!
All right, you ready to rock?
Ready to go.
When you get into this game, the reason why you pay someone like Paul Hickey to get your sports card strategy together is because sometimes when you're starting out, you need perspective, you need wisdom, you need insights. And so he's been around the track enough times where he can actually coach you up and guide you. Doesn't mean he's going to take you to the promised land tomorrow, but you now have a coach by your side that can advise and kind of even create these pathways where you can get the education yourself. And that's a lot better than thugging it out on your own. Thugging it out on your own.
What? The kids better buy my rookie card now, because after this year, the price ain't coming down.
Welcome in, everybody. I'm your host, Paul Hickey. It's time to sit back, listen, learn, and earn with me on the Sports Card Strategy Show. Let us coach you up and guide you, like Q Harrison says in the intro. I'm Paul Hickey. This is Lefty McKee. What's up, Lefty?
Dude, I'm doing good. I'm excited. We're starting a little bit early this morning because we've got so much content, and it's the day after Easter, so why don't we just jump straight into it, baby?
We're going to jump straight into it. Welcome, NoOffSeason.com fam. We're happy to have you with us to help you make money flipping sports cards. Are you tracking your sports card profit and loss sheet properly in 2025? Sports Card School and our inventory tracker help you do so. Go premium at NoOffSeason.com. We got multiple pricing tiers. There's weekly, monthly, annual. Lefty, I just added a daily. So if people just want to try it for $2 a day, their credit card will get charged daily for just $2. And you can save 20% using the promo code NoOffSeason. Lefty, this is kind of cool. It just dawned on me. We're only 3 months away from the National right now.
We're even less than Fanatics Fest, baby.
And we're much less for Fanatics Fest. We're just 2 months away from Fanatics Fest. So you and I are going to be together in New York and Manhattan at the Javits Center in 2 months. Pumped to be there with you.
Gonna go? The Hip Hop Museum.
We're not going to go to the Hip Hop Museum, unfortunately, because it doesn't open until 2026.
What a racket.
And what was awesome about that is I thought it was opening in 2025, so I booked my flight a day early to go in and spend a day at the Hip Hop Museum. But Lefty, we may be able to go to VaynerMedia for that day. So if you're down for that, we could go to VaynerMedia, get a tour of like where they do all the VeeFriends stuff and all that. We'll see what we can do.
We'll do that.
Nevertheless, we're gonna have a good time. Maybe we go to a baseball game now that the hip hop museum is
maybe a WNBA game. What do you think about that?
That's right. Could be WNBA game. I might be able to get us the hookup at the Garden. We'll see.
We'll
see. I could throw some feelers out there. But yeah, so Fanatics Fest coming up in a couple months. Lefty and I are gonna be there. If any of you are going to be there, like shoot us a note. We'd love to meet up. The other thing that we've got going on is we're going to do a little bit more of an official meetup at the National for NoOffSeason.com premium members. Go to our member store at NoOffSeason.com and be one of the first 10 people to join the meet and greet. There's going to be 10 spots to spend some time with Lefty and I, probably Turner and Joe as well in Chicago at the end of July. And so 10 spots, meet and greet us. It's only 300 member points. And so like, if you're a premium member at NoOffSeason.com, you more than likely have the 300 member points. What I want to clarify though, it kind of dawned on me is like, this doesn't include anything about like getting into the event. Like you got to get yourself there and you got to get yourself into the event. This is a opportunity to just hang with the NoOffSeason.com team. So it'll be us and then 10 of you, and we'll do something special. We'll have like some some giveaways, some swag, things like that. So it'll be fun. Don't forget also, if you're a premium member at nooffseason.com, you can use member points to join our Discord, which is going very well. And another cool thing is you can co-host an episode of this show with Lefty and I. So we're trying to reward premium members with some extra stuff. And it just kind of dawned on me, the National, 3 months away, getting excited for it. And we'll be in Chicago. So sign up for that meet and greet. And of course, all the other value at nooffseason.com. We say hello to Pick Six Cards and Andrew McDade in the live chat. We've also got some people over on IG, L. Smith, Fallen Royal 10, the Michael J, Mike Bowles, Prince's Wisher Official over on IG. Welcome everybody listening on Apple and Spotify. Lefty, let's talk about some hobby news before we get into some L's, W's, plays, NFL draft coming up. A lot of stuff to talk about. We've also got an amazing eBay tip of the month and an interview later with Jason Howorth, the SVP of Athlete Relations at Panini, where we talk about what releases we can expect coming up now that both Travis Hunter, Shedeur Sanders are Panini exclusive. So we're excited about that. But one thing that I noticed is Topps dropped this release, 2024 rookie campaign quarterbacks, and it drops tomorrow. And it's we'll take a look at it real quick.
Yeah,
we can think about this if this is something to make a play on. I don't know that it is. But it's Caleb Williams, Jaden Daniels, Drake May, and Bo Nix. Celebrate the historic 2024 rookie quarterback class. Commemorating their record-breaking seasons, collect every QB in this premium offering. One autographed, numbered, serial numbered out of 50 or lower, and 3 gold-framed parallels numbered to 99 or lower per box. So it looks like you get 1 autograph numbered to 50 or lower, and then you get 3 gold-framed parallels numbered to 99 or lower, but those aren't guaranteed to be autographs. There's dual and quad autos. This is an unlicensed product, but I figured because we talk so much about the NFL and we talk so much about quarterbacks and this quarterback class specifically, we couldn't really not mention this release. I'm sure that there will be people that make money off of this. I just don't know that this strikes me as a no-brainer in any way, shape, or form, just because more and more cards for these guys keep coming out, and we're still sort of at the infancy of like this Topps unlicensed product that's kind of disrupting the hobby a little bit, if you will. For those of you newer to the hobby, it may not feel disruptive, but for those of us that have kind of been in it 5+ years, I would say, we're already familiar with, all of the Panini releases, the licensed releases, the rookie patch autos, contenders, rookie ticket autos, things like that. And now with the licensing going over to Fanatics and Topps next year in 2026, a lot of these guys are Fanatics exclusive already, so they're not signing for Panini. So Lefty, how does this kind of strike you? There's a notify me button here to be one of the first to receive the ability to buy this, but I don't see a price. I think it's price dependent. What do you think?
Yeah, there was a couple of things as you were talking about it. I was like, okay, what do I need to know here to make an informed opinion here? And the first thing I said was, how much is it? Which is nebulous. This isn't. It's not in here. I also had to step back and be like, okay, this is a Topps Now release. Let's just step back for a second. This is a Topps Now release. And we have said many times, let's be careful about the Topps Now releases that we get into. We're not just going to be buying anything. The instant or the Topps Now is let's step back. This isn't something that's Topps high number or something. This isn't National Treasures. This is a Topps Now release. Now it is going to be the right names, but still unlicensed. And so I think as beautiful as that 4 dual auto looks right here, I'm still disappointed that they did the side of Bo Nix because you can clearly see the Bronco head is not there. You know, like the other three, you're like, okay, cool. Like you don't notice this is unlicensed. Immediately with Bo Nix, you're like, oh, is he playing for Boise State here? Like, what's going on? And so it looks unlicensed to me. I'm fading this, but the checklist is so small. I can't imagine that many people are going to win here. So I just think it seems like a money grab for the right names with the wrong cards.
I like your analysis of that. And this is one of those things where I would rather be conservative and fade than go in and spend a bunch of money. And
there's other cards of these dudes we can go get for probably less money.
I think that's the play. I think the play is to like let everybody else go get excited about this one, spend a bunch of money on it, and then this probably brings down the price of their Prism stuff that we know is going to be like when you go get a Prism Silver, when you go get a serial numbered Prism for some of these guys, like even some of the other Prism variations other than the silver do very, very well. And so I think that's where our attention should go when a release like this comes out. And you brought up some very good points about this being a Topps Now release. It's not necessarily like a National Treasures impeccable version for Topps. It's like it's Topps Now. So
right. I mean, it's gold, but it's still a Topps Now.
Yeah. I mean, some people are going to get like the photo is a one of one. Let's make no mistake about that. So it's a little misleading. They're not showing us other photos of other cards either. They're showing us this goes along a little bit with what I hated about the Topps Chrome football announcement, where they basically wanted people to buy into breaks on Fanatics Live to get the products. We talked about that a couple of months ago.
Yeah. You got hot about that.
I don't like this type of announcement where they're showing you a picture of one card and the one card is the one of one. That's misleading to me. Show us pictures of other cards.
Yeah.
Now I know they did link to the checklist and you pulled it up and it's a small checklist and you've got Caleb Williams, Bo Nix, Jaden Daniels, Drake May.
I do like you're pulling away with one of those athletes. You know, like you're not going to get a lineman in this release, you know, but still.
That's right. And so for that reason, while I lean towards what you said and I lean towards fading it, I could see where this is still price dependent. So if this ends up being $1,000, I'm fading it. If this ends up being $750, I'm probably still fading it. If this ends up being $350, $450, now you're probably in the ballpark where if you're guaranteed an auto for one of those four guys, 50 or lower, now you're in a situation where really like, okay, the other four cards are out of 99. So like you're now this could end up being like a $5,000 release. Like I might not even be in the ballpark of that with those prices, right?
Yeah.
But I just think we don't know. We don't know if this is something to look at or not because we don't know what the price is. Topps isn't giving us a whole lot of information. Because it's Topps Now, maybe there'll be like a full page web spread on it tomorrow or something, and we can make more of an informed decision. I'm not buying into it just because of the parameters I set for myself with the athletes that I'm buying in 2025. None of the athletes that I'm buying in 2025 are on this checklist. So I'm not buying this, but I got to do my job and let the audience know what I think they should do. Unfortunately, I don't know yet. And we're not going to have another show until after this is released. So, but hey, like drop a comment at youtube.com/Paul Hickey. Let us know what you think. Now, Lefty, moving on to something that I think is probably more up our alley, and especially up your alley. So I'm going to say hello to a few people in the live chat. I'm going to hand this over to you. We've got Hangover Sports Cards, Terry Anderson, George Scher, and Freddie James. What's up, everybody? PSA Vault now allows you to set your price and field buy it now or best offers. Offer up. We made selling on eBay seamless. Now it's everything it should be. This is according to PSA. List your cards on eBay, set your price, and entertain eBay offers, all from your PSA Vault. Lefty, you got to be pumped about this, right? This is one of the things you were waiting for.
Yeah, I am pumped about this. I'm not sure how it's going to effectively come through. I would assume it's going to come through the same way that your other offers come through on your PSA Vault, because now when you look at the offers available, for instance, I have 9 offers available on some of the cards that I have in my vault. Now they've added a separate line item or a separate organizing column where it says who the offer is from. For instance, all of my offers right now say PSA, 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 blah, 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 blah. It's kind of like those automatic offers. I would imagine once I have some offers coming in on some of my cards that are in the buy it now. For instance, I have an Anthony Edwards Prism Silver that's in here right now, and I have it listed for above where it's at. Let's just put it there. But if I have an offer that comes in, I wonder if that's going to come in like it is coming through the other offers. So I'm just curious to know how this accurately plays out. It's the same question that we've been asking of, okay, how does the instant grading look? Like we've heard that this is a thing. Can we actually go and do it? A couple weeks ago, we actually went through several different cards and several different big names and tried to do it, and we couldn't. So I wonder if this is another scenario where it's like this is going to be coming in the month or two, or if this is something that we'll get offers the way that they're coming through with everything else. I'm just curious about a lot of that stuff, but I am excited.
Yeah, I mean, this is like one more great way to sell. And thinking through the process from the start, am I going to vault something or going to have it shipped back to me? One of the reasons to have it shipped back to you is to be able to sell it in a buy it now or best offer, and not necessarily just have it sitting in the vault or have it only be able to list in an auction. And so this now gives you the ability, everybody out there, the ability to have a card in the PSA Vault and then list it in a buy it now or best offer, which for some of my higher dollar cards that I'm holding, like my Michael Jordan sort of star rookies and things like that, not a bad option moving forward. So I like it. And we knew this was coming. We just didn't know when. So Good on PSA and eBay for making this happen. Just wanted to let everybody know. Okay. So Shedeur Sanders is Panini exclusive. We talked about it in last week's show. I then talked to Jason Howorth, SVP of Athlete Relations at Panini, on Shedeur Sanders and Travis Hunter signing with Panini. There was also an announcement last week that Arch Manning extended his deal, and as part of that is that he's signing memorabilia and things like that, and that's very exciting to a lot of you. A lot of you have DM'd me on Instagram at Sports Card Strategy about that, so I appreciate that. So I talked to Jason. We're going to play that interview at the end of the show. Does Panini have licensing through 2025? What releases are these guys going to be in? When exactly will Panini stop producing licensed sets for NBA and NFL? All that good stuff coming up in that interview. We did see, though, courtesy of Sports Card Investor on Instagram, that there is a rule. I haven't seen this on Panini's website officially yet, but according to Sports Card Investor, Panini released an instant one-card pack for $299.99. It comes with an auto from a variety of Panini products. Some orders will come with a Color Blast or National Prism. And it is a Shedeur Sanders. It is a release featuring Shedeur Sanders. So if I'm reading this correctly, and this came out after I talked to Jason. Jason didn't mention it in our interview. This announcement came out after that. He mentions other things in the interview, though, that you're going to want to stick around for. But I wanted to bring this up. Panini Instant releases Shedeur Sanders only autograph one card pack. Sports Card Investor kind of asks, will you be ordering one? My response initially was, I looked at this and I thought, okay, cool. These cards look great. But I mean, if you get a Color Blast, you're probably making money. But again, that's like that's going to be the lottery ticket. So I don't recommend buying this hoping to get a color blast. These don't, this doesn't strike me as a money maker. This strikes me as a money grab by Panini, especially with the draft night instant cards coming up later this week. So I'm fading this and I'm saving my money for the draft night instant cards. But Lefty, does something like this grab your attention, or does this sort of hit you more like the Topps Now release for Caleb Williams and those guys?
It's similar. The thing is, we know how much this is going to cost, and so it's on Panini's website right now for $2.99. I am excited about this because I'm just excited about Shedeur Sanders in general, and I think this product will promote more of his cards being sold, and I am definitely more interested in the grenade of him coming out later this week rather than I am this one. This is not a product that I would have ever bought, but it is exciting to see some of his some of him and some of his jersey getting sold as well, because these cards look great. You know, like if you look at that, I mean, I'm not a select fan, but that youth explosion on the top right looks awesome. And his negative color blast in the bottom center with the black jersey, like that's a sweet looking card as well. So I think these are cards that I might be interested in on the open market, but I'm definitely not interested in them in the $2.99. Let's see if you can roll the dice here and get $1 million. This is a gamble. You don't know what you're getting in this.
Yeah, I think his Bowman Chrome first prospect autos raw are going for less than $2.99, and I would probably rather make a play on those raw to grade at this point. They're probably not going for much less than $2.99 raw, but I think at least you know what you're getting. I know a lot of people like the excitement of like not knowing what they're getting and things, and I could see some of these doing well. Like if you get a color blast, obviously, I agree with you about the youth explosion. Looks cool. But this is a Colorado, Buffalo's licensed product, college licensed. It has nothing to do with who he's going to play for in the NFL or anything like that. So to me, something like this gets immediately superseded by the draft night stuff that literally comes out less than a week later. So I do see it. For those of you, I said a minute ago, I didn't see it on Panini's website. It's there. It's right in their featured products on their homepage. So Shedeur Sanders, Panini Instant 2025. Each one card pack features a limited Shedeur Sanders autograph card from landmark brands Prism, Select, or Mosaic. So there you go. That's it. You've got base silvers. You've got Mojo Prisms out of 99, silver vinyl Prism out of 25, gold vinyl Prism out of 10, black vinyl Prism 1 of 1. So you would make a ton of money if you get those serial numbered cards. So you can buy 10 of these if you want. You can buy up to 10 of these if you want. The fact that like you can still buy them also kind of worries me a little bit.
Yeah.
There you have it. So are you guys going to buy these? Like, what do you guys think? Drop a comment below at youtube.com/Paul Hickey. To
tie a bow on it, I did use the nooffseason.com tool to look up his refractor auto, and his average sale over the last couple of days is $237. So you could go a raw to grade play on his Bowman Chrome refractor auto for cheaper than this. You are the man. And I would rather do that personally, because that is his first card. That is his first auto. These are not. Now and it's out of $4.99.
Yeah, and it's out of $4.99. And one that will be his first pro auto, we're going to talk more about with Jason Howorth from Panini later on in the show, so stick around for that. Lefty, one thing that kind of came up last week that I just wanted to give a quick shout out to is you and Turner and I and many people in the nooffseason.com fam have joked, but it's true that basically our audience is 99% middle-aged men. And so we do the whole hello middle-aged men thing, from time to time.
Yeah.
And however, we're not only appealing to middle-aged men, we are appealing to people of all ages now, because I received an awesome email. I'm going to read it. Hey, Paul, I am Carter, a 13-year-old from Wisconsin, and I love listening to your podcast every week. It has helped me a ton with making successful plays on sports cards. I need to write a letter to one of my heroes for a school assignment and thought of you. I was wondering if you could send me a P.O. box or address that I could send it to. God bless and keep making great videos. So
that
Carter,
is amazing.
I was very humbled, taken aback, very thankful for that. Means a lot to me. Carter, thanks for reaching out. As many of you know, if you do email me at paul@nooffseason.com, I always reply. Definitely, this is a family atmosphere here at the Sports Card Strategy Show, and want to help all of you.
Except for that one time you didn't say Fockers when you got really excited.
Oh yeah, I definitely meant to say Fockers and said the other version of that word. That happens, and then maybe that's not as family as I'm positioning ourselves as. But yeah, funny. Lefty, good call out there.
That's
Rusty
awesome,
Immagart's in the house. Zach Ellsworth and Brian Bartunik are in the house. Love it. Okay, so thanks to Carter for I said, Carter, do you mind if I give you a shout out on the show? And he got pumped up about that. So
yeah, of course.
There you go. Carter, I sent Carter a t-shirt also. Little gear pack. So if you're not middle-aged yet, you know, you're still welcome here, along with all the other middle-aged people.
You're not a male. You're also welcome here.
Yeah, I mean, whatever your gender.
Carmel, come on.
We Carmel Porter. We've got Jessica Kimberlin. We've got Melissa Fazio. We have several female premium members at nooffseason.com.
Let's go.
Okay, so Lefty, I just figured I'd throw out some more hyper relevancy data here. Switching gears a bit. In his 17th Masters start, Rory McIlroy got his career Grand Slam. We've talked about that a little bit. We talked about some of the sales data from our card analyzer and predictor tool last week. Here's some data directly from eBay that they emailed me. On April 13th, 2025, when he completed the career Grand Slam by winning the Masters, searches for Rory McIlroy increased over 6,000% on eBay globally compared to the average day the week before the Masters began. There you have it, right? And then on the same day, searches for Rory McIlroy cards increased nearly 18,000%, 1,800%, sorry. 6,000% for Rory McIlroy, 1,800% on eBay for Rory McIlroy cards, compared to the week prior. So that's why we talk about these being selling markers and having your cards listed at that time. A lot of people think, oh, now, you know, when you first get into the hobby, you're like, oh, I wonder if it's a time to prospect on Rory because maybe he's going to go down as one of the best ever. Nope. His prices are through the roof because the searches are through the roof, and the more eyeballs on cards mean more bids. More bids mean higher prices.
Yeah, I think this is awesome information. But, you know, like when you go into the weekend, you don't know who's going to win. And so it's like, I think, yeah, it's cool that it's up 6,000%, but I would be curious to know what are the other guys up? What are Scotty Scheffler up? What is, you know, Rose Ludwig up? What is up, you know, because like not every time is going to be your home run swing. You're not going to invest in Rory and he's going to win every time. You're not going to invest in a guy who hasn't won in 11 years very often, you know? And so I think these are amazing statistics, but I think it's for us going forward. How can we read from something like this? I think we would need to know the statistics of how the other guys went up during this kind of this kind of a weekend as well.
Yeah, I think that's great. That's a good point. I mean, I think on one hand, it's like we say list them all in buy it now or best offers so that you don't miss out on this. Yeah. But I agree that it would be nice. It would be amazing to know, okay, during the tournament, throughout the week leading up, what does it do to all the other bigger name golfers or the guys maybe that people are prospecting on that have cards? So I totally agree. I could reach out and see if they can provide some more data. So thanks for bringing that up. Wouldn't it be nice if there were a tool you could just upload pictures of a card and it would tell you what it would grade or what it would be worth in the future? Well, we built one. It's called the Sports Card Analyzer and Predictor tool. Just go premium at nooffseason.com. We've got multiple pricing tiers. Use the promo code NOOFFSEASON and save 20%. Now, Lefty kind of showed it to you a minute ago. This is kind of what it looks like. It allows you to price out the cards, chart out the cards after you search for it, and then upload the pictures of your card. We get back to you about 1 to 2 business days with your analysis on your dashboard. So let's get into, we mentioned that the NFL draft is coming up. We're going to talk about that later on in the show, particularly with Jason from Panini, their SVP of athlete relations. But Jake the Guardian put together our highlights from our sports card rankings at nooffseason.com. Last week, we talked about the biggest formula movers from a raw to grade and a graded to raw perspective. This week, we're looking at already graded. So this is for those of you who are just interested in buying PSA 10s, like which PSA 10s have gone down over the last few months that still have upside to go up over the next few months. That's how we put this together. There's obviously more to it than that, but that's the long and short of it. So Victor Wembanyama's 2023 Contenders Mojo number 11 in PSA 10 went up 55%. So now you can make 57% on that card. Now, this doesn't mean that the price of the card went up. This means that the ROI that you can make on it went up due to the target cost essentially going down. So this is like when we talk about going where they ain't, we're pulling out cards that we're saying are cards where you can go where people aren't looking right now. So that card is a target cost of 46%. Tyrese Maxey. So these two make sense to me. Tyrese Maxey makes sense. 2020 Optic Base 171 PSA 10. The potential ROI percentage change is up 66%. So now you can make 56% on that. That is an $18 target cost right now. So think about that, Lefty. Tyrese Maxey, 2022 Optic. Now it's the base card, so it shouldn't surprise you that much, but still, Tyrese Maxey, Optic Base, PSA 10, $18. So that's
so crazy,
one.
dude.
Shohei Ohtani, 2018 Topps Future Stars Black PSA 10. The ROI change is it's up 55% in terms of opportunity. So now you can make 118% on that card if you can get it at its last sale of $110. So that's the target cost. And then finally, Baker Mayfield 2018 Optic Hollow 158. I know who this reminds you of, Lefty. You can give her a shout out if you want to. PSA 10. It's the ROI percentage change is 96%. So now you can make 109% on that. That is a $69 card. So we talk about the kind of little pockets in the offseason of when you can buy top players and quarterbacks in the NFL and things like that. Baker Mayfield right now, 2018 Optic Hollow, 151 PSA 10. I know it pains Lefty to see him in that Browns uniform on that card, but
I actually low-key love it. I wish we still had him, but I do low-key love it.
It's at least a nod to your team in a way. So that's
he's
good.
Still the quarterback we should have. I'll just put it that way.
Yeah. I mean, she clearly is. I mean, hindsight's 2020, right? So, what do you think if you had to buy any of those? Which one would you go with?
Right now, I'd probably would buy that Baker because of where it is in terms of the off season. You know, I think there will be a decent amount of income that can come into this situation over that. The 96% change or the ROI being 109% is pretty awesome. And I think it's not a card that's rare. That Topps Future Stars Black PSA 10 Shohei Ohtani might be really hard to find. And Tyrese Maxey is not a guy that I'd be buying right now. I'd be buying him in a couple of months when basketball's over. Even though the Sixers are out of it, I still think you got to wait a little bit. And then Victor Wembanyama would be coming in second place, but the ROI is so much different on the Baker. I think I would be more invested in the Baker at this point than I would be the Victor. even though I know Victor's market is way more compelling than Baker's.
Yeah. I was going to say the same thing about the Ohtani card. I think that's going to be super hard to find. I like that. I would probably go Baker too, even though Wemby's the guy that Wemby's the guy that I'm buying.
Mhm.
And Shohei is the other guy that I'm buying. I think if I can find the Shohei card for 110, that would be my number one choice. But I just think that's going to be hard to find. I think realistically, that Wemby card doesn't really do it for me. Either just that just doesn't feel like the right card. It's not going to have the upside that some of his other cards have. So I think I'm with you. I'd probably go Baker because you have the selling marker for Baker. Like the Baker selling marker, we know that card's going to go up in late August.
And that is the Baker card too. So it's like,
yeah,
like you don't really have to, you don't have to wonder. Like that's the one that everybody has on their tables at the National. So you don't have to be like, oh, what a cool Wemby card. Haven't seen that one before. Like it was like, nope, that's the Baker card I'm looking for.
Yep, exactly. And 2018, I mean, I have to believe was a lower print run than, any of, I mean, Maxi in 2020, there's probably way more of those, and it's not the hollow, so that doesn't have the upside. Yeah, so there you go. Already graded Formula Movers, courtesy of nooffseason.com sports card rankings. Are you confused by grading your cards with PSA? Just grade with us at nooffseason.com. Send us your cards. We do the hard part and we save you money. We also track your gem rate for you. Go premium at nooffseason.com right now. There's multiple pricing tiers, weekly, monthly, and annual, and daily. Now, use the promo code NOOFFSEASON to save 20%. So, I mean, if you wanted to try it today for a day, what's 20% off of $2? Like 80 cents. So there you go. $1.80 today if you want to try nooffseason.com.
There you go.
No, I think it'd be more than that. Maybe it'd be like 20% would be like, I think you could try it for 40 cents off. So $1.60 for one day. There you go, everybody. Now, if you want it for only 82 cents a day, that's what I was going
to say that.
Lefty's probably wondering, wait, what happened to 82 cents a day? Because we've been talking about that. That's the annual, my friends.
I'm locked in.
Okay. Now let's get
Brian Bartunik is locked in by knowing that I'm a Browns fan. So here we go, Brownies. Here we go. Ho, ho.
There you go. Yeah, one of these days we'll let Lefty explain why he's fans of a bunch of random teams. It's fine. We still love him. I give him crap about that consistently in our text string with Turner, and he handles it like a champ. So, it's time for play of the month, and this is where we give you guys just a straight up look at what we're doing. Like, what exactly are we doing? So my play of the month is Caitlin Clark's 2024 Prism Ice Baby 22. It's the pooping card. She's pooping into the ice, and she's shooting a basketball at the same time. I like this card from a raw to grade standpoint. We've added it to the formula, the sports card rankings at nooffseason.com. It is coming in with a 122% projected ROI with an $84 target cost. So Lefty, I was able to snag two of these fuckers for a total of $160 on eBay. So under the target cost on each of these, they look gemmable. And they just arrived in my mailbox about an hour ago. I'm going to send them into PSA later today. That's my play of the month. It's that simple. Raw to grade Caitlin Clark. Here's another one though. I did receive this. So this I won in an auction for $322. And the reason I bring this up is because this is the silver pooping number 22 out of 2024 Prism. And she's pooping and shooting the basketball at the same time. This card costs $322. The Prism Ice costs $80. Like I got each of these for about $80. The target cost is $84. So I just want to I want to point out the early price difference in the true silver versus the ice Prism. We're still super early in like the PSA 10 pricing for those cards and the PSA 9 pricing for those cards, but there's a lot of upside in the raw to grade play there. So that's what I'm doing, Lefty.
Yeah, I like that card. I mean, the fact that she's going number 2, shooting a 2, number 22. I mean, it's all right there. You just got you got to lock it in with Caitlin Clark. Caitlin Clark is going to make a appearance later in this show in a not so fun way for me when we talk about L's. But I think this card, I just sent off a couple of them for grading as well. Not the cracked ice, but the or the orange ice prism, or sorry, I'm looking at an orange ice prism on eBay. The ice prism rookie is a card that I like. I just sent a base one off that I ended up pulling out of a pack that somebody gave me, which was pretty awesome. So I got a free one that I sent into PSA because it looked pretty nice. But I think that is that is the parallel that's going to go on to be her rookie parallel. This one compared to the one where she's kind of standing with the ball on her finger, this is an action shot. Typically the action shots do a little bit better. But I like this play here.
All right. So what is your play of the month, Lefty McKee?
My play of the month kind of hasn't materialized yet because we're at the end of the month here. So I'm like, okay, I'm still doing a lot of, I'm still waiting on a lot of my eBay auctions that I've won to come in. So I purchased, I think about 40-ish Bowman Chrome U Cooper flag cards. This card right here, the one where he's his first Duke card in the Bowman Chrome first. I purchased about 40 of those that I thought were gradable. Turns out they haven't been as good under my lens as when I saw them on eBay. There's a lot of print lines that I didn't see on eBay and stuff. The quality is not as good as I wanted it to be, but I'm still waiting on a couple of those to come in. So when I'm looking at my next play, it will be over the next couple of weeks, and I immediately go to the draft night cards. I already bought a grenade of the Paige Beckers, and I talked myself out of the Van Lith cards and stuff because I just didn't like the look of them. But I am in on Paige Beckers. So my play of the month is Paige, Shedeur, Travis Hunter, and maybe Cam Ward, depending on what the price of it and how the card looks. I'm going to go in on all these over the next week or so in terms of buying a bundle of these to send in for grading as well. And then, it's not very long before the NBA draft because Cooper has officially declared he is not going back to Duke, which was a pipe dream anyway for all those Duke fans out there. But I'll include myself in that. I thought it would have been pretty cool to see him, especially if they could schedule Maine and he plays his twin brother. That would have been kind of cool. But Cooper is going into the draft, which sets us up well for the draft night cards, and your little asterisk will be right there. So
can't wait to buy some Cooper flag draft night cards. I will be most likely buying Shedeur Sanders Panini instant draft night cards as well, which we'll talk more about in the episode. So that'll be another play of my month. And Lefty, you did a great job there breaking it down in terms of your plays of the month that are coming up here. They're coming up here because they're all timely. Lefty's going in on the, hey, like this is an opportunity to buy. Like Lefty's just basically going back to the well in terms of what's worked so well for us in the past, which is like go buy these cards at a low bulk price per card and then get them graded for the top players. So we did have somebody on Instagram DM'd me about the Paige Beckers play. I said I wasn't making it, but there you go. Lefty is making it. So it is endorsed officially by the Sports Card Strategy Show. Courtesy of Lefty McKee. If I probably would buy a grenade. I probably would if I weren't going so narrow, I'd probably buy a grenade, have them graded and sell them.
It was 99 for 25. I mean, that's like what? That's so cheap, guys. I mean, but I'm only buying one grenade though. Like there are other plays where we have said, "Oh, I'm buying 100 of these or whatever." I just did 25 on the Paige Beckers.
There you go.
I also wanted to kind of close, or maybe not even close, but just update us on a kind of a discussion we had a couple of weeks ago. We talked about the Luka Doncic Prism Silver versus the Shai Gilgeous-Alexander Silver Prism and PSA 10s, both of these, and we were like, what does it have to do? The Thunder just doo-dooed all over the Grizzlies, and the most recent sold is 1549 from that Shai card. Luka lost the game, Paul. They lost the game. and his is currently at $1599.99. Like we said, like he doesn't have to do much for this card to be like $2,200. If they end up winning this series against the Timberwolves, this card will be, I think, a $2,000 card, and I did purchase it for $1,382. I just want to update us.
Love that. That's a great update because people just seeing Luka in a Lakers uniform in the playoffs that haven't actually seen him in a Lakers uniform yet. Basically, that's what did that to Luka's value. And then to Lefty's point, Shea, I mean, it was like Jalen Williams and Isaiah Hartenstein that shat all over the Grizzlies.
Doesn't matter. Go Thunder, baby. Thunder up.
It doesn't matter. You're right. Shea's cards have not moved up. So maybe there's a lot built in there. Maybe a lot more built into Shea than there was into Luka. And Luka just has a much bigger market. That's what this is. A lot of this is market size, everybody. So that's good insights there. We're going to get to L of the past month real quick and then W of the past month. But if you like the content on this show and want more, go premium at nooffseason.com now to get unlimited advice answered on our Friday podcast for premium members called the Premium Pod. Go premium at nooffseason.com. Multiple pricing tiers, weekly, monthly, annual, daily. Use the promo code NOOFFSEASON to save 20% now. We'll say hello real quick to some other peeps in the live chat. I think we hit Freddie James, Junk Card Dog in the house. Jaime Corona, Ariel Lahip, I think we already hit Hangover Sports Cards, but we'll hit him again. The Card Society, Stephen Brooks, As the Wheels Turn. What's up, everybody? And then we had some more loyal people on IG over there that need to come over to youtube.com/Paul Hickey just to make it easier on me to give shout outs. Okay. L of the past month for me gives you insights into sort of how I handle certain cards that I get back from grading. So, and this, Lefty, honestly, my biggest goal for 2025, because I know how to get wins, right? We know how to get wins. What I felt like I needed to get better at and sort of teach everybody else to get better at is mitigating your losses. When you get a loss, first of all, don't get as many losses, but when you get a loss, how do you make it more of a break even? And so the raw to grade strategy is a big way that I've done that, where I bought 2 Victor Wembanyama 2023 Topps Chrome refractors raw in the same. It was just 2 of them in the same lot. Basically, it was a lot of 2, and I got them for under the target cost because I got 2 of them. One of them got a 9 and one of them got a 6. I sold the 9 and made 14% on it. So that's a better L than I've had in the past. I cracked out the 6, sold the 6 raw, and lost 4% on it. So I basically lost $1. So losing $1 and only making $6 on those cards from a raw to grade standpoint in a bulk submission. And there's more. I had some more L's as well that I'll probably save for the next month's L's, but they're very similar. They're with the Shohei Ohtani 2018 Bowman pitching card, where it's like I bought a lot of them, got a couple 9s, got an 8, got a 7, but those figures are not killing me. They're like I'm losing a few dollars overall on those, whereas in previous years when I've gone all in on plays, it's like, you get hit $200 and $300 L's, and so just limiting those. That's my L of the month. What about you?
Yeah, I think us going from taking massive hits to just not hitting, like that, for that to be an L for us, for that verbiage just to switch a little bit is just key. Turner and I were talking about that the other day, where he was like, man, I'm just so excited that now our L's are just, we didn't hit the lottery on this, and we're not like, I'm now poor, because I made this play. And so that's really fun. I think very similar. My L's of the week, right, or my L's of the month right now, all go back to me going back to the well on 2 Caitlin Clark cards. I had a Caitlin Clark card draft night that I went back to the well on, and then I actually bought more of the Rookie of the Year parallels than I probably should have. And because the quality on those were so poor, I'm now I'm taking L's on these two plays. The Caitlin Clark draft night cards that I went back to the well on what I thought looked good. And then I also bought them with the Scotch tape on them, so they hadn't been perceived to be opened and stuff like that. Well, every one of them that I've gotten, I paid for about between 60 and 70 bucks for. And all of them have gotten 9s, which are selling for around 50 to 60 bucks right now. So I'm taking those. I'm taking like $20 losses on, but the Rookie of the Year cards, I'm getting a lot of 9s on, which is a basic $5 to $10 loss. But a PSA 10 doesn't have the top end on that card either because of the print run is so high. So the PSA 10s I'm only getting a $5 to $10 win on that. So I don't have the exact dollar amounts like you did in your previous segment, but this isn't a massive financial loss for us. It's just marginal. But still, the marginal losses are frustrating when we kind of had gotten in a run of making a lot of really good wins. I mean, you talked about a year ago that 2024 was the year of Lefty, and it was like I was just making win after win after win. And for these cards to come back as like a meh, even in the midst of a Cooper Flag runaway win for the Topps number 1, or for the Topps Now number 1, and even the 44 that I had great numbers on. This is the midst of an L of the month for me.
Yeah, well, it's definitely the draft night had the upside, but not the Rookie of the Year, and it's worth.
Yeah, I just bought too many of those when I bought them originally.
Yeah, makes sense.
Which is why I'm going back to only 25 with Paige, because when I bought the Rookie of the Years, I was like, you know what? If this hits big, I want as many of them as I can. Well, it didn't, and the quality was poor, and so I just have a bunch of them. I literally have some that I'd prepared for grading that are now just still sitting on my desk. So it's like I'm not going to go spend more money on putting poor quality cards into PSA. So
yeah, because the 9s are just the 9s are going to be a huge loss, and even the 10s are going to be not that big of a win. So I think that's great adjusting on the fly. Just real quick in the live chat, the Card Society brings up a good point about the Shea Gilgeous-Alexander 2018 Silver Prism PSA 10 that we hit on a second ago. They say that card was $700 in December. So if that is in fact true, then that's a double up there. And that's again why we talk about December being the time to go and buy those kinds of cards. I would be surprised if that wasn't a card that we
were on Shea
towards in some way, shape, or form back in December.
We were for sure on Shea in December because I was talking to him about him being in the play-in tournament, or the whatever that tournament cup thing is called. The
NBA Cup. Thanks Card Society for that. As the wheels turn has a couple things that I'm going to hit on real quick. He says, will no offseason ever do a tier for the youth? They are addressed big part of the hobby. So the youth can buy whatever tier they want at nooffseason.com. Like that, anyone can buy, anyone is welcome. All ages, all races, all genders, all anyone's can come to nooffseason.com and buy whatever tier they want. And if they have trouble buying it, they can email me and we can figure out a way to get them in there. So as the wheels turn says, Paul, are you sticking to the players you said you would only buy this year? I took that strategy and loaded up on Michael Jordan raw cards, got them graded no matter condition. So far, no loss, all profit. Well done, as the wheels turned. Yes, I am absolutely 100% sticking to my strategy. So are you ready to start grading your cards? CGC Cards is the perfect place to slab your favorite sports cards. From their crystal clear holders to their affordable pricing, CGC Cards is the perfect stop for your grading needs. Go to cgccards.com to start grading today. We love CGC Cards. There's a lot of reasons to potentially grade with them. Now, for my win of the past month. So this is something I'm very proud of, and I've been waiting for today to talk about it. It doesn't always happen, but I was able to buy a BGS 8.5 1987 Fleer Michael Jordan Lefty's going to ask me what the subgrades were, so I'm going to tell him 8.5 centering, 8 corners, 9 edges, 7.5 surface. So that translates to a BGS 8. And I cracked it out and submitted it to PSA. What I was hoping for was just a PSA 8. A PSA 8 would have got me a win. It would have got me a small win, but it would have got me a big enough win to feel good about the play. What came back was what I've always tried to achieve with this crack and submit with this particular card. Because if you can go from a PSA 8 or a PSA 8.5 to a PSA 9, you win huge. So I cracked it, submitted it to PSA. I got a PSA 9 on that card. So the total order amount that the buyer, and here's how I sold it. I listed it for $1,599.99 in a buy it now. Somebody binned it in like within 48 hours of when I posted it. So that was by far one of my biggest victories as a sports card flipper, because again, it was like I got it back from PSA, posted it right away, and I buy it now. I looked up the recent comps. I said, let me list this a little bit over the recent comps. $1,599.99. Boom. Binned within 48 hours. The total order amount that the buyer had to pay was $1,716.63. After taxes, after sales taxes and transaction fees, the total order earnings that I got from eBay was $1,377.89. So overall, I did the math. This was an overall net profit because I was $425 into the card. And then when you add the grading fee, total net profit $922.
Nice.
So big time pumped on this one. The crack and submit doesn't always work. You got to be very, very careful on the amount that you pay and that and what you're trying to achieve. But every once in a while, like I think worst case scenario, you should put yourself in a position where you're only losing like maybe $50 to $100. And then that's a repeatable play, because when you win, you can win that big. So
yeah, theoretically you can do you have enough margin for that $50 to $100 loss 9 times now.
Yeah, exactly. And Lefty, I mean, my gut reaction was to go buy another one, but I stopped myself. I was like, look, because if you go buy another one, now you're only really like have like a $400 some profit, because you just spent half your profit on another one. And then you're like, okay, now what happens with that other one? Do you win again, or do you? So I think a lot of people want to parlay the bet, right? I don't always necessarily want to parlay the bet. I want to take my money out, put it away, and just be very, very conservative with my next plays. So
don't parlay the bet, my friend.
Back to Lefty's L. So Lefty, what's your W of the month, man?
Well, my W of the month is that you paid road improvement and food delivery fee in the midst of this. Thank God. Thank God that eBay took a road improvement and food delivery fee of 50 cents.
50 cents. What is that? That's so weird.
A food delivery fee in your eBay listing.
So
that's
weird.
got to be something from Tennessee, bro. That's got to be Nashville something. My win of the week. This is funny, but it's small. A couple of months ago, I saw a Tiger Woods card that I really thought was cool, and it was ending soon on PSA. Every once in a while, I just go into like list it or ending soon on PSA, and I try to go snag cards that I think are fun or a good deal or something like that. I ended up finding a 2001 Upper Deck Tiger's Tales, which is like it's his rookie set series. I actually have the entire set raw next to me. But I ended up getting this one, a PSA 9. I got it for $5. And so I was like, okay, that's kind of fun, whatever. During the Masters, I listed it because I was like, if I lose $5, I lose $5. I sold it for $31.99. That is incredible. Like the X return on this card is better than yours just now. But it's just like, it's hilarious to me that I bought this card for $5, a seemingly just small, insignificant purchase. And like after proceeds, I made $19.19 on this card after all fees and considering everything that happened. Hilarious that I ended up making that much money on a card that was just for fun. But my other win goes back to what I said earlier, that I believe that this Luka card will be huge for me. I think I'll make, $700-800 on this Luka card, because I'm going to try to sell it off of eBay. I'm going to try to see if I can sell it on Instagram. With Luka being so big, I believe that might be the case. So I'm going to see if I can sell it around some fees. If not, even with the fees, there's going to be enough margin here where it's going to be the win of the month for me.
Yeah, for sure. Can't wait for that one. But also, I like your Tiger's Tails, because that's an example of what can happen at any level of this hobby. Like you can turn $3 into $30.
I also
there's a lot of ways to do that.
It's a little bit of a callback to that original eBay statistic that I was like, I wonder who, Rory was up 6,000%. Tiger didn't even play, and I sold a card for $30 that I bought for $5. And so it's like, I wonder, this is the kind of thing that you buy the golfers when nobody's caring, and you sell them during the Masters and stuff like that. So it's just trying to make good decisions. I probably now his number one card, like the PSA number one, did not sell for. I had some that I put on buy it nows that I thought would sell for where I thought they would sell for, and they did not. But this random one I got, a big win on. So, you just kind of have to diversify and just sprinkle a little winnings somewhere.
Yeah. The upper deck number one didn't move. Yeah.
No.
Interesting. Good stuff there. All right. So up next, we're going to get into Shedeur Sanders, Travis Hunter, Arch Manning talk with our guy, Jason Howorth, SVP of Athlete Relations, which I think is one of the coolest titles.
Scott Van Pelt.
He's the Scott Van Pelt, SVP, for those of you who don't know, Senior Vice President of Athlete Relations at Panini. Here's Jason Howorth. Let's get into it. Now joining us on the Sports Card Strategy Show is my man, Jason Howorth. He is the Senior Vice President of Athlete Relations at Panini. Jason, how you doing, man?
Hey, Paul. How are you?
Doing great. It's awesome to have you back on the show. We're excited to talk to you. We saw really 3 announcements come across our press release wire here at nooffseason.com. All 3 are athletes that we've been talking about for at least the last 3 years here on the Sports Card Strategy Show. So the first one was Travis Hunter. Second one was Shedeur Sanders. And then today, Arch Manning. And Arch has been Panini exclusive for a long time, so we'll save him for last. I'm really excited to talk to you about the first 2, Travis Hunter and Shedeur Sanders, becoming Panini exclusive. So could you just remind us, first of all, just tell us from your perspective what this means for Panini and for these athletes?
Well, I think there's a couple of things. I think one, it's always important to get the guys that are, the most compelling in the class, to autograph deals, to just create that dynamic beyond the products that we've got in the marketplace. To be able to feature the autographs of those athletes in their rookie season are really important. So, to get Shedeur, was a work in progress, and we were excited to announce them, last week. We had, we tried to create separation between the timing of both of them, but it just worked out that they were, like everything that they've done, they're kind of hand in hand to a certain extent.
Yeah, and very timely as well with the NFL draft coming up. And so that's kind of where I wanted to go next. I mean, when I saw Travis's name come through as Panini exclusive, I thought Shedeur could be next. And then certainly he is. And so with the NFL draft coming up, can you share what this means in terms of draft night products that might hit the market from Panini with these 2 guys? If there's anything you can share, that'd be amazing, because our audience is very excited always about these event-related cards. And in this case, now both of these guys are going to be Panini instant eligible, I would think.
So we've got a number of guys under contract, some exclusive, some non-exclusive. We'll have more exclusives to announce, post-draft as well. But yeah, so on draft night, you'll get cards of, all the guys that are selected. I think our team is working on, what that checklist is going to look like. so as soon as those players' names are called, those cards will be available on Panini Instant. So we're super excited for that. We're super excited for the idea of Travis and Shedeur, for that matter, as well as the rest of our athletes that'll be featured in the product. But I think Trav is super compelling. Like I always think back to he's a hard athlete to compare to somebody because of he plays both ways. For me, I kind of equate that dynamic, and I know it's different because it was a multi-sport, but I equate that to like me when I collected Bo Jackson as a kid, right? Like Bo was the guy because of football and for baseball. I feel like that's probably the comp that you could have for Travis in terms of energy and excitement that he brings to the game. The fact that he is committed to playing both ways. The fact that even during his pro day, last week he only ran routes. He didn't do anything on the defensive side of the ball. I think that's going to be real. I think it's going to be really fun to collect Travis this year. And Shedeur, the same thing. I think Shedeur is unique. Obviously, he's got the heritage and the name and the connection. And I think it's going to be really fun to see what happens there. It's any guess what's going to happen after that. I really don't know what's going to happen on draft night. In terms of number one pick overall. I know people think who the number one pick is going to be. It's just a wild card. You don't know what's going to happen until the clock ticks down and they make their pick.
Yeah, totally. I think the NFL draft first round is harder to pick than the March Madness bracket. I mean, because you don't really even know who's going to have each pick until the team's on the clock or the commissioner or whoever's announcing the pick walks out. So I totally agree. I totally agree with everything you said. I think Bo Jackson's a great comp for Travis. I also think Shohei Ohtani is an interesting comp for him from like a hobby perspective, potentially because, it'll be the first time that we've really seen this. We know Coach Prime back when he was playing. We know he played both ways, but he didn't really play receiver full time. And it'll be interesting to see Travis hopefully play on both sides of the ball full time, and maybe that'll be a little Ohtani-esque for collectors. So I totally agree. I think so our audience is going to be very excited to go on PaniniAmerica.net and buy those draft night cards, however they shake out for Shedeur and Travis. Any other plans you can talk about in terms of releases? Like this obviously is, first of all, I mean, great job getting these two guys. I mean, like huge gets for any company. And so can you share any plans on what this might mean for any future releases beyond the draft night instance that they're going to be in?
Oh yeah, sure. I mean, I think that I think you've seen a couple of different things. One, you're going to see them in our NFL licensed product, in our collegiate products. You'll see them there. I think the evolution of Panini Instant from draft night moments to game day performances has kind of evolved. So I think you'll find some unique opportunities where you see, stuff for Travis and stuff for Shedeur and some of the other exclusive athletes that we announced later that are in that mix. So, I mean, I think you'll see that kind of falling out on Panini Instant from that point of view. Obviously, our blockchain digital collectible platform is, going great right now. We've had some really good drops on the football side. I think that's going to continue. I think adding, guys like Travis and Shedeur just add to that fact and, create another level of energy and excitement in the market.
Now, I know we're kind of coming up in a transition point with the licensing, and if there's anything you can speak to around that, that'd be great. But also through this era of licensing with the leagues and the player associations, we've seen more player licensed stuff in the hobby, whether they be cards or memorabilia or digital collectibles. We've seen player licensing become more of a term that we've talked about. Can you speak to the upcoming transition in terms of timing? You mentioned these guys would be in Panini NFL licensed product. Are we safe to assume that could include all of the big releases like Donruss, Prism, Optic, NT,
Absolutely.
all of those.
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh yeah, of course. NT, Flawless, you name it. We're running out our NFL product like we've done every year. Like that's where our focus is. That's where our goal is, or that's where our energy is put. It's, why we focused on this class, among other things. We'll have more announcements adding to some excitement and energy that's coming into that product, into our NFL licensed product here. As early as next week. Which will be good. So I think there's a lot of excitement, a lot of for this class. A lot of excitement for the products that the products that we've got on the radar coming out for this season. And we can't wait to hear where these guys' names are called.
Yeah, 100%. And then I don't know if you can speak to the length of Travis's deal and Shedeur's deal, but would they each extend past the licensing transition to where they'd be doing some player licensed stuff after that?
We don't really talk about that stuff. So
okay, no problem. Our audience definitely will be wondering, but hey, they'll be left to wonder, and that's fair enough. All right, so let's talk about Arch, because that announcement just came out. So Arch has been a player that I've bought a lot of Travis and Shedeur. I've bought a lot of Arch. He's been Panini exclusive. Like basically every single one of his cards, every single one of his autos have always been Panini exclusive. And now there's this new expanded deal into memorabilia. While I have you, just talk about that for a little bit if you want to.
Yeah, it's been phenomenal. I mean, I think Arch was exciting. I think his team and Arch himself has been very strategic about the process in terms of how they handle NIL. I think that, part of it is, wait your turn, philosophy to a certain extent. So, first shot out of the gate was, being able to put Arch on a trading card and get his autograph. And that's, we've been 2 years into that relationship with Arch as it relates to autograph trading cards. Now as he's moving into, the QB1 position at Texas this year, it's a natural transition for us to look at, how do we bring memorabilia to life for him and how does that work for him? And quite honestly, it's like the perfect timing for him too, because, as the QB1, sure, there was a lot of fanaticism and fandom for him, when he got to Texas and even last year, but the right time to really launch the memorabilia is as he's stepping on the field as QB1. So, we're excited for that. We did a signing session with him. The helmets look amazing. The jerseys look amazing. There's stuff up on PaniniAmerica.net right now that's available for Arch. We wanted to make sure that we had that stuff aligned and set to coincide with the announcement. So, super excited to put that out into the universe. We know that not only are there a lot of Texas fans, but there are a lot of Arch Manning fans and a lot of Manning fans that want to jump in on that.
Absolutely. We are excited about all three of these guys. Jason Howorth, SVP of Athlete Relations at Panini America. Thank you so much for your time, my man. Keep up the great work. Thanks for joining us on the Sports Card Strategy Show.
Thanks, Paul. Appreciate it.
Pumped about the NFL draft coming up and pumped about the Shedeur Sanders and Travis Hunter draft night autos. There's going to be maybe even some base grenades that Lefty and I are interested in. I think the big takeaway there though for me is not only that, but it's also that we are going to be seeing licensed products from Panini with Shedeur and Travis autos and Prism, Donruss, Optic, National Treasures, and those releases, because we don't know how the NFL season is going to shake out, but we do know that hype is a huge factor, and no two players will be more hyped than those two guys. So when their licensed autos in pro uniforms come out in those major Panini releases, it should be sort of a celebration for the hobby, because over the last couple of years, we've seen some fragmentation where we've got CJ Stroud only and Wemby only signing for Fanatics. Cooper Flagg's only going to sign for Fanatics. We've got Caleb Williams and Jaden Daniels only signing for Fanatics, along with Bo Nix. And so you got JJ McCarthy with his Panini autos and things like that, but you don't have in Penix, but you don't have Drake May and those other three. So it'll be nice to actually see two of the biggest names in the draft sign for Panini, have licensed product for Panini. I don't care that it's Panini or Topps. I just like to see everything all together. Licensing, autos, pro uniforms, big releases. Lefty, what do you think?
Yeah, I think it's good for us to have them in cards that are worth buying. Like think about the first time we bought a Shedeur Sanders autos and it was an Onyx card. Like imagine if that's all we had right now. I think there's a couple of years ago where that could have been the case, where Panini didn't have their stuff together or Topps didn't have this going on, and I think we would have just had to settle with whatever was here. I think we're pretty fortunate in the healthy card environment that we're in right now that we're going to be able to get good looking cards. And I think like no matter where Shedeur lands, whether it's number 3 or number 9, if he's with the Giants, I think that's going to be a little bit of a bummer for me, because I think I'd rather have him in a Saints uniform, just because he feels more like a Saints player to me. And the Giants are just freaking horrible, so nobody wants to go there. But the Giants did have a special workout with him, but they also had special workouts with Jaden Daniels, Drake May, Michael Penix Jr., J.J. McCarthy, and Bo Nix, and none of those guys ended up being a Giant. So
yeah,
here's to hoping.
I would actually rather see Shedeur in a New York Giants uniform because of the media market, the medium and the higher draft pick. I mean, if they take him as a top 5 pick and he goes to New York, look out for that media tour. The draft is in Green Bay, so it'll be interesting. It'll be a fun week. Arch Manning, of course, QB1 for Texas was the other thing. We already knew that. I let Jason kind of promote the new memorabilia deal, of course, because Arch is a guy that we talk about all the time. I will not be buying Arch memorabilia, but I am buying plenty of Arch cards. Go to nooffseason.com for more on the Arch cards that I'm buying. All right, Lefty, we're going to leave everybody today with a sports card school lesson of the week. It's an eBay lesson. I think it's a pretty cool one. It's how to request a feedback revision on eBay. This is something that I've never really seen talked about other than, us talking about it right now and talking about it at Sports Card School. I believe we played it on the premium pod as well, but this is how to request a feedback revision on eBay. This is from something that had to, that happened to myself, literally happened to myself. This lesson comes from my real life. So I'm excited to play it all for you now. Let's get into it. What's going on, everybody? Welcome to Sports Card School. I'm Paul Hickey with nooffseason.com. Every so often, you will get negative feedback or even neutral feedback as an eBay seller. Now, none of us want to believe that this is going to happen to us, but it can happen even in unintended circumstances. Let me give you an example. Recently, I shipped a card to a buyer and everything was good. And I realized that buyer had left a neutral feedback on my eBay seller account. And neutral feedback being not positive can be detrimental to your seller profile, even though it's not negative feedback. And you could do this. What I'm about to show you is how to request a feedback revision from your buyer on eBay. And you can do this with either negative or neutral feedback. I've done this twice, once when I got negative feedback and once when I got neutral feedback, and it was revised. And I'm going to walk you through this. So in the situation I was telling you about where I got neutral feedback recently, it was because the order was never delivered by USPS. So what I did was I noticed that it hadn't been delivered. I reached out to the buyer who had left neutral feedback and I said, look, I realize that this item hasn't arrived to you. What I can do is I can give you a refund and then I can file an insurance claim with the United States Postal Service to get my money back so that we're both made whole. Unfortunately, you don't get the card, but since it's been over a month and the item hasn't been received by you yet, that's clear evidence that the USPS lost the item. So let me go ahead and give you a refund, a full refund, and let me handle getting my money back from USPS through an insurance claim. Now, the buyer was extremely excited that I reached out to them, was more than happy to change their neutral feedback to positive feedback, but they didn't know how to do that. So what I had to do was show them how to do that. And what you have to do in order to get a buyer to change their feedback is you have to request a feedback revision on eBay. So I'm going to show you how to do that right now. Now what you do is you go into the order. So go into the order and then it says feedback received under item. So click the link to feedback received and then scroll down and you can see the feedback for that item. Then there is a blue hyperlink over on the side that says request revision. So once you click request revision, as you can see here, it's asking me to re-authenticate. Once I re-authenticate or re-log in, you can click request revision again. And now here is the feedback revision request modal window. And what you can do is you can check the item, select why you're making this request. I said I resolved the buyer's problem with this transaction. Then I put a little note in here. Now I had messaged the buyer about this, of course. So I referenced that I messaged the buyer and I say, per our exchange, could you please revise your feedback? Thank you. And then I changed it to the buyer confirmed that they left the wrong feedback. The revision was then successfully requested. I then received an email from eBay saying that you successfully sent a feedback revision request to your buyer. And then sure enough, the buyer revised their feedback because they received an email from eBay about it. And I successfully changed neutral feedback to positive feedback as a seller. I'm sure that you're going to run across some type of instance where this happens to you. And now you know how to change neutral or negative feedback into positive feedback. The first step is reaching out to your buyer and then requesting a feedback revision on eBay. Thanks so much. This is Sports Card School. Have a great day. So you gotta love Sports Card School for the reason of a lot of random tips that can pay off. And if you guys have any other questions about what's at Sports Card School, go to nooffseason.com, check it out. It'll give you a list of all the lessons there before you sign up as a premium member, and I guarantee that you're going to find something useful. Lefty, McKee, we got to sign off for today's show. Is there anything else you would like to add before we hit him with the outro?
I'm rooting for the Lakers, baby. Come on.
NBA playoffs, NFL draft, still a lot of great PGA Tour golf happening. WNBA season starting soon. Just a lot. I mean, it's MLB season too, of course. So a lot of different sports card plays to be made. Everybody, thanks so much again, and we'll see you again soon. Thanks so much for being here with us on the Sports Card Strategy Show. If you enjoyed the content on today's show, there's plenty more waiting for you at nooffseason.com. Just go to nooffseason.com right now and get a free 30-day trial. You get our formula-based sports card rankings, Sports Card School, inventory tracker, the ability to grade with us, and the premium podcast where we answer an unlimited amount of your questions. Check it out right now at nooffseason.com. For everyone at nooffseason.com, I'm Paul Hickey. Thanks again for being here with us on the Sports Card Strategy Show. We'll see you again soon. Have a great day.